Hi, Professor Granlund here. I have some introductory comments about the endocrine system. This should help you prepare for your chapter learning objectives. The endocrine system is one of the two major regulatory systems in your body. You have already studied its companion system, that is, the nervous system, in your A&P1 course. Both systems regulate the body's activities and use feedback loops to maintain homeostasis. As you already know, the nervous system communicates using electrical impulses and neurotransmitters. Communication throughout the body is really fast, just a matter of milliseconds. In contrast, the endocrine system communicates via hormones. These are molecules released into the blood vessels and transported throughout the body. This, of course, takes a little bit longer to accomplish. So the nervous system is more like FedEx overnight, while the endocrine system is more like the U.S. Postal Service. Both of them working together get all the messages delivered. Oh, okay, so what the heck is a hormone? Well, hormones are chemical messengers made by endocrine glands and secreted into the blood. The blood delivers them to target cells, and once they're bound to the target cell, they're going to change the activity of that cell. For some hormones, like thyroid hormone and growth hormone, many cells throughout the body have receptors, so these hormones have a wide variety of effects. On the other hand, for some hormones, like glucagon and melatonin, only cells in one or a few organs have receptors, and the hormone has a much more specific effect. Chemically, most hormones fall into one of two categories. Either they're steroids or they're amino acid based. The steroids are made from modified cholesterol molecules, so they're lipid soluble. It's a bit more tricky to circulate a lipid-soluble molecule in our blood, which is primarily made of water. These hormones need to be attached to special transport packages made by the liver. On the other hand, since your plasma membrane of your cells are made of phospholipids, and since lipids are soluble in lipids, steroid hormones pass right into our cells. The receptors for them are actually inside of your cells. On the other hand, the amino acid based are the most common type of hormone, and since they're soluble in the blood, they don't need any special carriers. Since they're not soluble on the plasma membranes, the receptor for these hormones is actually located on the cell membrane itself. Some hormones are secreted continually at a low or baseline level, and then the organ can be stimulated to either increase or decrease the amount of hormone released. Other hormones are only released when the endocrine gland is stimulated to release it. There are basically three methods to stimulate that release. Humoral release occurs when the endocrine organ secretes a hormone in response to increasing or decreasing levels of a chemical in the blood. You already saw an example of this in your A&P1 course when the parathyroid gland secreted parathyroid hormone in response to low blood calcium levels. A second regulatory mechanism is via neural stimulation. For example, when the hypothalamus sends electrical impulses to the posterior pituitary gland, it responds by secreting oxytocin, or when the adrenal gland is stimulated to secrete epinephrine. A third means of control is hormonal. This example includes thyroid stimulating hormone from the anterior pituitary gland, causing the thyroid hormone to be released from the thyroid gland. So once the hormone is released and has traveled through the blood and has bound to a receptor on the target cell, it's going to change that cell's activity. Examples of changes that may occur are things like alterations to the plasma membrane. For example, a change in the permeability or the resting membrane potential, or a cell may begin to synthesize proteins such as enzymes or receptors. Or the hormone could cause activation or inactivation of an enzyme. That's going to affect the biochemical pathways occurring in the cell. The effect may be secretion of stored products. Or hormone bonding could cause mitosis or meiosis. The change brought about, of course, depends on the type of hormone. After learning the basics of the endocrine system, you're going to have the opportunity to investigate each of the endocrine organs and the hormones they release. For each hormone, you will discover the stimulation for release, the targets, and the effects. Some of these hormones, such as calcitonin and PTH, you'll recall from AMP1. Others will be new to you, and they'll be used to control the activities in the upcoming body systems described in AMP2. Many of the hormones will be related to regulating the reproductive system, and many others will be related to regulating blood pressure. The ability to reproduce is one of the basic properties of living organisms, and it is a fascinating process, but it involves several very important hormones. Blood pressure is regulated cooperatively through the nervous system and endocrine system. However, the targets will always be the same, namely the heart, blood vessels, or kidneys. Increasing heart rate increases blood pressure, and decreasing heart rate decreases blood pressure. Constricting the blood vessel increases blood pressure, and relaxing those blood vessels decreases blood pressure. In the kidneys, retaining water increases blood volume and therefore increases blood pressure, and removing water decreases blood volume and therefore decreases blood pressure. The regulation is a complex interplay between hormones and nerve impulses. We'll revisit blood pressure in the heart, blood vessel, urinary, and fluid and electrolyte chapters. I strongly suggest that you pay attention to these important hormones so that you have a working knowledge of them for the upcoming course material. More importantly, however, most of you are going into health occupations, and high blood pressure is extremely common in the United States. So you'll be working with patients that have high blood pressure frequently. The medicines given to control these blood pressure all target the heart, the vessels, or the kidneys. So understanding the physiology here associating with that controlling blood pressure is going to be useful in your pharmacology class and throughout the rest of your health occupation career. Well, that should get you started. As you work through those chapter learning objectives, please contact me with your questions. I'll talk to you again soon.